Hey there, we're back looking at a stock that we haven't looked at for a very long time. It is called CCIV, soon to be Lucid Motors. So this one really is potentially, a very interesting stock to be looking at. This is obviously a SPAC stock, it's an electric vehicle stock. We have a lot to talk about in this video. As usual guys, I'm going to try and make it as short as possible for you guys. I don't want to waste any more of your time than we have to, but we're going to be looking at some of the most important pieces of information regarding this stock, some of the potential things that could be interesting going forwards for this company as well. We're obviously going to be taking a quick look at how the price has been moving and all of that kind of stuff. If it sounds like an interesting plan, make sure to smash that like button as we are trying to grow this channel as fast as possible. You guys have been killing it recently, but we do need to keep the growth going, perhaps even a bit faster than how we currently are. So thank you for everything, let's just keep it going and let us jump into this video quickly. So we're going to start off again looking at the price of CCIV. Today, CCIV is down. We started off the day at 9.30 on a price of about $22 almost exactly. We hit highs in the day earlier about 9.40. This was about 22.16. Unfortunately, ever since we have sold off. Now again, the day is not over yet, but we can see so far that obviously the share price is down. We look to be finding a level of support around this 21.70 mark, again dipping a little bit lower than that at some points. But we do seem to be pretty stable there, and once again now we have actually broken out a little bit, taking us up to about 21.80. Not a big gain of course, but it is still a gain, and then it came crashing down again so far. So we are still back in that range now. We are back right now at 21.66, so again slightly below that 21.70 range, but we are still in a decent range regardless. So things are moving down today. That has actually followed the trend of the past 5 days as the stock price just keeps falling lower and lower and lower. Now one thing that I do want to note is that today, whilst we have seen a decrease once more, if we do look at the general trend, the momentum of today's fall in price has actually been slower than what we have previously seen. If we look over to our candlestick chart, that becomes a bit more apparent, as we can see the candlestick for today has barely moved at all in relation to yesterday's, which was pretty long and obviously red. So we are in a red candlestick today, but we do have some potential to hopefully break into a green one tomorrow. Ultimately, this stock has potential, as you will find out in a moment, but I still do believe we are going to sit pretty flat with this one for some time. Again, SPAC stocks do have a lot of potential, they do get a lot of hype, but let's face it, a few things have happened in the past few weeks and months. Initially, we obviously have the fact that the whole EV market has sold off. Then we've had a few SPAC companies, especially related to electric vehicles, which let's just say they haven't been the best companies. I think that's the best way to put it. I think with a company which is kind of pre-revenue, like CCIV, perhaps people at the moment are a bit, apprehensive to invest in this company. We're going to be discussing why in just a moment. I think it is a reasonable thing to say, but on the other hand, there are many good parts of CCIV to look at as well. So let's first talk about the backstory. CCIV is soon to be Lucid Motors through a SPAC deal. Now if we do have a quick look at what Lucid Motors is, they are basically a car company, an electric vehicle car company at that. They have many different models, I do believe, but first we're going to focus on their Lucid Air, as this is the one which we can clearly see on their page. The car's price is $69,900, I would guess that's American. We can see that the range for the car is 500 plus miles, which is really good for an electric vehicle, by the way. If you do or do not know about electric vehicles, I mean, if you know, you'll know that 500 plus miles is a good range. Again, if they can achieve that, fantastic. So again, that is really kind of like industry leading stuff. It really is up there with some of the best. Anyway, max power is 1080 horsepower. Now that is something which I like, and it's something which I find really funny, because when it comes to like petrol cars and diesel cars, we've got like Ferraris with like 500 horsepower. Electric vehicle, 1000 horsepower, that's not a lot. It's a 4-door sedan with 1000 horsepower. So there you go. Anyway, that's an interesting point, but it is off topic. Basically, it's a 69 grand electric vehicle. It looks pretty cool, and it is kind of like a Tesla competitor. I think I would put it in the same area as the Model S, perhaps even the Model X. Probably the S though, because it is a smaller type vehicle and it is in a similar price range. Anyway, that's not what you came here to talk about. What you came here to talk about is the financials and what is going on. Let's talk about this news article over here, which is called "Meet the Britain Leading Tesla Rival Who Wants to Save the Planet." So that is cool. Is he a Briton? I hope so. I mean, that's interesting. Somebody from our country. But let's have a quick read of what is being said down here. If we do have a look down here with this icing on the cake, and again we can see up here with the fact that he has apparently got the technology but he just can't get there fast enough. It would take about 8 or 9 years, and at that point it's apparently too late. And I would say this is true, you know, the competitors in 8 or 9 years I definitely would have thought would catch up by then, so we do need something like this to happen as soon as possible. So again, if they can get a deal with some auto manufacturers, some large auto manufacturers such as Honda, Toyota or Hyundai as listed here, it really would help the company to obviously advance going forwards, which could be a big deal for them in the future. Now, one thing which I do find interesting about the vehicles that they do apparently have so far, or the vehicles that they will have, is the sales figures which they do expect going forwards. So if we do have a quick read of this, we can see Lucid plans to sell 20,000 EVs in 2022, according to management. The figures actually ramp up more or less in a straight line to 251,000 cars by 2026. And apparently no production issues such as part shortages or labour issues are foreseen. So if we do have a quick look, NIO, which is a competitor, they have actually delivered 7,200 vehicles in January of 2021, as of the end of January 2021 basically. So again, that just shows the amount of units that have been delivered. They have delivered a total of 82,866 units since the company's inception, and has a revenue of nearly 8 billion in 2019. So to put things into perspective, NIO's enterprise value is about 86 billion, implying that Lucid is already valued at 28% of NIO. Let's take a minute to think about that, right? 28% of NIO's value is what Lucid is already worth. That is a big deal, so this just shows how much of a highly anticipated SPAC this is. I think going forwards we are in a very interesting market because people have been talking about the Lucid cars and the Lucid SPAC for a very long time, and rightly so. This is a company with a car which is a competitor in a way to Tesla. It looks great, and they do have a lot of potential to become a real-world competitor to some of the biggest electric vehicle startups out there. Now again, at the moment, we actually do have no cars being sold. They plan to sell 20,000 in 2022, which is a reasonable start, don't get me wrong. It's not too ambitious, it's not too, below what people would expect. So it is good, and I think this is potentially going to happen. Now I think the car that they do have would be fantastic, and I can expect revenue for this company to be decent going forwards, again if they do manage to sell that many cars. So ultimately, I'm very happy with how CCIV has been moving recently. Yes, it has been selling off, don't get me wrong, it definitely has for the longest time. I think that is okay. The whole EV market has been, again, a lot of people after some of the SPACs which went through perhaps don't want to invest in some SPACs at the moment, which is again reasonable. But I think right now, CCIV is quite undervalued in my opinion. I mean, yes, you could argue that it's overvalued because they haven't sold anything yet, and that would be a very fair argument to make. But honestly, I think once this company does fully go public, and once things do start to pan out and all that kind of stuff, we'll be in a great position for CCIV. So would I buy the stock now? Honestly, I would consider it a buy in my personal opinion. Again, not a financial advisor, but it's just what I personally believe. And again, it definitely depends on what you believe, but I think that the company's fundamentals are strong enough. I think what they have really is something which could be adopted in the real world. It could be driven by many people, and if they really are going to bring a car worth about $25,000 to the market, that would really be a game changer if they could do that as soon as possible. So we'll have to see what does happen for CCIV. It seems to be a very ambitious company at the moment. Will it actually prevail? Will things go in their favour long term? Well, only time will tell, but I'll be updating you guys as things do unravel, so make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to not miss future ones. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.